Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Heather and today we're going to be reading some books that have some female main characters that are not good people, and they kind of are those people like she did what type of books. I'm in the mood for those type of books. I've been reading a lot of romance lately and I really just want to read some unhinged women characters, female characters, passing as female characters, those type of books where the women in here, you're just like, why is she doing that? Like I said, she did what type of vibe? Okay, that's what we're going for in these. So I picked out 5 books, did some research, found one at Barnes & Noble that I've never heard of before, and I was like, she sounds like something else. Okay, but just I'm in the mood for these type of books. So we're gonna go through the books that I have picked out for this particular video, and we're gonna start reading. So the first one is The Teacher by Frida McFadden. I've heard good things about this. I've read one book by Frida McFadden before and it was okay. Like, it wasn't the best thriller that I've ever read, but being a previous teacher, I am very interested to see how this goes. People have commented that if you're in the teaching field or previous teacher or going into the teaching field, this is probably a really hard read. So I'm interested to see how this book goes. Then I'm in a Facebook group for psychological thrillers and saw somebody recommend this, Break Him by Nikki Grace. And basically the main character's husband is trying to leave her and she's like, nuh-uh. And evidently she breaks him. So I don't know if it's physically, emotionally, financially, all of the above, not really sure. Then I have Any Man by Amber Tamblyn, and just heard that this is a really hard-hitting book about a female serial rapist, I think, where she goes around and she sexually assaults a lot of men, and it's told in their perspective of what happened. But I'm very interested in this. I've heard that this is a really hard book to read, but I've also heard that it's very important, and especially with a lot of things that are going on right now in the world, a lot of conversations happening. This is supposed to be a book that's hard-hitting and that's very eye-opening. So I'm very interested to read that. Then I have Tampa by Alyssa Nutting, and this is about a woman named Celeste who is 26 years old. She's married to a handsome man with money, and she is a high school junior, or she's a junior high school teacher living in Tampa, and she starts a relationship with one of her students. Heard that this one is super hard to read, but needs to be told, and it's from the teacher's perspective as to why she's doing what she is doing. I think there's a theme here, but I didn't realize that there was a theme here. Okay, and then I have This Girl's a Killer. I'm assuming that she's going to kill people. This is by Emma C. Wells. This is the one that I found at Barnes & Noble, and I was really like, that sounds interesting. It was on one of their books, and don't really know about anything. Ask Cordelia Black why she did it. The answer will always be, he had it coming. That was the line that I read that I was like, you're mine. You're mine. So these are the books that I'm going to be reading. I'm probably going to put a poll on Instagram to see which ones people want me to read first. So we'll let Instagram pick which one I start first. I do need to return this one because I had an auto renewal of this one and it's due by December 7th. So I really hope that, it's only November 22nd, 21st today. I don't remember. It's been a long week. But it's only, I have plenty of time. So we'll see. We'll see which ones I get to first. Good morning. It's morning time. As you can see, the morning light right there. I didn't feel like moving my camera anywhere else because I'm still sleepy and everybody in the house is asleep except Lila and myself. So I figured I would just fill you in right here at the same spot. So I ended up finishing Any Man, and I'm giving this 4 stars. I didn't feel even at the halfway point because I was too deep into it and I was listening to it on audiobook. The audiobook is interesting. I wouldn't say it's a bad one, but there are like whole paragraphs missing out of it. There are sections where you have like radio stations and podcasts where people are calling in that were really hard to hear, in my opinion, because they were very muffled. There was also a TV segment that was on there where there were so many people talking in the background, and you heard like a lot of background noise, which was very distracting to me. So the audiobook, it's interesting. It has a lot to it. There are a lot of different narrators in here, especially for all of the men that these assaults were happening to. They were telling their story, and the whole story process of this book, I really enjoyed the way that it was all put together, and just the overall journey that these men had to go through after the assault, and how they dealt with all of their feelings and how they dealt with all of the aftermath of it when people found out who they were, and when people on the internet trolled like people do, and just how they overcame, I wouldn't say overcame, but how they started to see life in a different way after everything that happened to them. So essentially this woman is going around and she is assaulting all of these men, and after she assaults them, they just have to live with the aftermath of what's going on, and she doesn't have a preference whatsoever. She does it because she enjoys doing it, and that's really all that we get from this book from her perspective. There are a few scenes in here where people are talking to her online, and that's how she meets a lot of her victims. And it was very interesting. It was a very interesting read and a very interesting perspective of how this author went, like the way that she went with this story. It was very interesting, but I am going to give it 4 stars just because some of the writing in here was distracting to me, like the writing style, and there is one thing in here where it's just nothing but like tweets, and I don't really know if that added any value to the story besides knowing that one of the victims is reading this, but just the way that it was presented. And I think if I would have just been reading that section with my eyeballs, it wouldn't have been as bad, but the narrator literally went through and like read how many likes and comments and everything each tweet had, and I don't know, I kind of zoned out during that part. But overall, wasn't a horrible story, and it was very eye-opening. I think a lot of people would get a lot of things out of this book. I would suggest this book going into it obviously in the right mindset, because it is very graphic. It is very detailed about what happened to these men, and it also kind of leaves it open for interpretation on a lot of things too, which I thought the author did a really good job about that. Like, it was graphic, but it was kind of like, is this real life? Are these people imagining things that happen? Kind of like questioning the victims just like everyone else does, but I wasn't trying to question the victims. I was just trying to really think about, like, are they imagining this? Like, did this happen? The aftermath of it, after they were reliving the situations, is it their brain? I don't know. It's hard to explain, because there's some scenes in here I'm like, I think that they're maybe dreaming about it, but I wasn't sure. But either way, this woman is up, like straight up. And there were a lot of scenes where I was like, damn, she did that. And not in a good way. Like, not in like, woo woo, yeah, you go girl. But like, this woman is something else. And I just felt for every single man in this book, because it was a rough one. It was a rough one. So, and where I was going with that thought was, if you are a literary thriller fan, this is more of that speed. It's written very lyrically, however you say that word, and you gotta use your brain. It's not very straightforward. You just gotta use your brain. Okay, then I started to read Tampa, and I'm listening to this one on audio too. So my thought process was these two books right here. I needed to listen to them on audio because I knew that these were going to be the harder hitting books. And I also read where these were more literary than anything, and sometimes I have a hard time with literary books because you have to use your brain power, and sometimes I just want to read and it just be told to me and I don't have to think about it very much. So decided to pick up this audiobook. I don't think I've ever gagged while reading a book before, and I read some pretty intense things. But this woman, and I knew it going into this book, but this woman's got she got some things going on. And coming from the background that I am with teaching, or that I have with teaching, I was a middle school teacher. So she is attracted to like teenage kids, 15 and younger. I'll say that, 15 and younger. And I think she's 26 or something like that. And she says that she likes them 10 years younger than her. Like, if you're older than that, she's not interested. And this woman, she becomes a middle school teacher so she can prey upon the young boys. And she tells you exactly what she's going to do, and she's very sexually explicit in what she's doing as well. I can say that some of the writing in here is getting on my nerves just because it's trying to be overly pretty. And I don't think in this type of book you need to be pretty with your words, even though, I mean, she's not, it's hard to explain. So Celeste is not trying to be pretty with her words, but the author is trying to put in a lot of analogies, and she's trying to put in a lot of descriptions, and she's trying to put in a lot of like hyperbole and metaphors and all that kind of stuff. And I wish she would have just been more straightforward with what she was writing, because it's taking away from in my opinion, it's taking away the severity of what's going on in this book. But I mean, I'm only like 43 pages in, but Celeste is very sexually charged, and she's very sexually motivated in what she is doing. And she is married to a cop, which I think was a very interesting choice so far. But yeah, but like I said, I don't think I've ever gagged before while reading a book, and it's gross. She's a disgusting human. Yeah. Last night I was like, do I really want to read this book? But I'm going to try to push through it. I might DNF. You never know. And yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Those are my updates. That's a really long-winded update, sorry. But I just wanted to get out all of my thoughts about she did what? Because she did what? Like, her, okay? And probably the same with her. This book is... I don't know what else to say besides this woman is a disgusting person, and the author, I worry about this author because writing this book, I hope she got some help from writing this book, like from a therapist or something like that, because some dark stuff in here. And I'm halfway through it right now. Celeste and her victim have developed a relationship, an affair, and she's taking advantage of this boy. We're reading it from her point of view, which is disgusting, and it just makes me like nauseous having to read this. And the victim in this book is so naive and just so willing to please her, and is taking this whole relationship in stride, just like any teenager would, especially teenagers who don't have like the stability at home and all that. And she is taking that to her, like she's using that to her advantage. And the thing is, her husband's a cop, and she's doing this so she has that risk against her. Like, I'm trying to think about it from her point of view, but I can't. I cannot. Ugh, this woman is gross. Like, she is just disgusting. And having to read from her point of view, I've had to put this book down several times because she's just grotesque, and she is just yuck. But I knew going into this book that I would have these feelings. Obviously, any person in their right mind would have these feelings. So it's nasty. And I'm on chapter 9, and something happens in chapter 9, and I really hope that the story goes the way that I want it to go, because they are in an act. And that's another thing about this book too. Like, why did the author have to go into very detailed sex scenes with her and a minor? Like, she could have done something else and you could have got the idea, but like, this is very detailed. And y'all know that I read some raunchy stuff, but it's with two consenting adults, like very much adults, and they are in it for, they're in it because they are adults and they're consenting. But she is using it as like, well, he's into it and he wants to do this, but he's also 14 and he can't consent. So even if he says yes, he can't consent because he's not a freaking adult. And I really just want to jump through this book, and I want to her, okay? But speaking, and I mean, that's what the intent of the author is, that's what hopefully her whole intent was for this book, to make you extremely angry, and for people to see that this is not okay, which I hope everyone knows that this is not okay. But, it happens every day, and there's like all of these news articles every freaking day that come out where teachers do this, and I'm like, you were disgusting, like a disgusting human. So, and yes, I am judging. I am very much a judgmental person when it comes to an adult and a non-consenting teenager, adolescent, child, person who is not of age. I am very much judging, and like I said, I hope this book goes the way that I want it to, because something just happened and I'm like, you deserve it. But I wanted to talk about this book, because this book is reminding me of this book, but this book was written in a way where we are reading from the victim's point of view, and how the victim has had to go about their life still having feelings for the person that took advantage of them when they were 15. And she didn't, like, as an adult, she still doesn't understand why it's such a bad thing as what happened. But when she finds out that he was doing this to other people too, and it wasn't just her, that's when her whole life just like goes into a spiral, and she's having to really relive through all the things that happened to her and think about it from a point of view that it was not romantic and it was not okay. And this book is really hard to read, and this book is so sad, and it was one of those books that I had to put down and then I could pick it back up and read something in between and all that kind of stuff. But it was one of those very compelling books. And if you are looking for, I don't know if you're really looking for this, but like if you are wanting to read, like the headline here says, exploring the psychological dynamics of the relationship between a naive teenage girl and her magnetic, manipulative teacher. Like if you're looking for a book that's, especially from the victim's point of view of this, like as a relationship like this, I would highly recommend this book. There are some more detailed scenes, but they don't do it like this. You're reading from Bridget's point of view and just how she navigates life as an adult. And it's nothing like this. So I would recommend this to you. But again, on the She Did What level, this is like a 1,000. I don't even know if I can put 1,000 whatever icons I'm going to use for She Did What for these books, but this is like times 1,000, and I just want to really throw this book out the window, and I'm not going to keep it after I get done reading it. So there's that. Well, this book did not go how I wanted it to go. It really does show like our legal system in the United States on how people like Celeste get off on crimes like this, and how just because she is a beautiful young blonde woman, nothing against blondes by the way, but she is a petite white young blonde woman who is very pretty and doesn't give off the horribleness of herself. Like she is a chameleon through and through, and she can charm the pants off of anybody, and like men just fawn over her and she gets away with everything. The intention is there, but the subject matter of this book and reading from the perspective of this woman and what she did and how she felt no sympathy, no, like she did not have any feelings unless it was for her. And one of the victims in this book realized like she's only out for herself. She doesn't give two craps about him at all. And then that's when her downfall happens, which I was so happy to see. But then the ending happened and I'm like, damn. And sorry, you know, I don't really cuss a lot, but this book, I cuss a lot on this channel. This book made me mad. Like this book, it did what it was intended to do, but I can't give it higher than like 1.5 because I really hope that this woman who wrote this book just, I don't know, I don't really know how to explain. She did a good job with the whole execution of you hating Celeste and you wanting to like hurt Celeste and all that kind of stuff. She really did it, but I don't know, I'm just disgusted. Yuck. This book was gross, and I will forever be thinking about it, unfortunately. So there's that. So we're just gonna go ahead with the teacher theme since I decided to pick out 2 teacher books in this vlog, and we're gonna read this one. I know that this is about a teacher-student relationship. I believe it's high school, which doesn't make it any better. Yeah. It says that the high school was rocked with a scandal involving a teacher-student affair, and supposedly there's just one person, Addie, who is in the middle of everything, and Addie is considered a liar and all that kind of stuff. But I've heard that this is more of like a psychological thriller, where this one is more literary, and I don't even care if it's upside down. This is more literary and tries to use the flowery language. I've heard that this is pretty much just straightforward to the point, and it is gonna gross me out, obviously, but hopefully not to this effect, okay? I just want to throw that book across the damn room. There's that. And I'm gonna go to the bookstore because I am just like, I need some retail therapy right now because that book just put me in a horrible mood. And I'm like, am I wearing the same clothes from yesterday? Yes. Do I need to wash my hair? Yes. Tomorrow's hair washing day and I'm tired. I've been working all day, just got off. My eyeballs hurt because I've been looking at a computer screen all day. Because I am taking off Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Because Thursday is Thanksgiving. So I'm taking off the rest of the week after tomorrow so I can just chill with my family, have a good holiday and all that. And I'm just trying to get done with a lot of stuff. You don't really care about that. But that's why I look like this, okay? I'm sleepy. But I also wanted to fill you in and let you know I'm halfway through the teacher. And while this is starting to get uncomfy right now, it is a totally different tone than Tampa. So I can stomach this a little bit better than I did with Tampa. The student teacher relationship just started halfway through. It's disgusting, and I have a feeling that the teacher's wife, she's a teacher as well, but I have a feeling that she is about to tear him up because she is one of those kind of people, okay? I don't think that she's going to let him get away with having a relationship with a student because she's just not that type of person. And I think when she finds out, she's going to tear him up. And I hope she does because he is creepy. He's one of those teachers. I'm going to go sit down because my arm's hurting. But he's one of those teachers that is like everybody's friend, you know, but like really creepy in a way because he's trying to be everybody's friend. And it just like... Do you ever have one of those teachers where you just wanted a teacher that like taught, but not a teacher that was trying to be your buddy, you know? Like those teachers are cool and everything. Not really. I didn't really like any of those teachers. I went to school and I just wanted to learn. And when I was a teacher, I was also that teacher that I taught, right? I taught my class. They answered questions. We had a good relationship, but it was also more of like a parent relationship, like a parent-kid relationship, right? Because the kids knew what they could and could not get away with in my class. They knew that I was there to teach them. I wasn't there to be their friend. But he is one of those teachers that wants to be your friend and that wants people to like him. He knows that he's good looking. He knows that, like, it's like he gets off on getting the attention that he does. But he doesn't have anything to do with his wife. Her name is Eve, and you read from her perspective in here. You're also getting the perspective of the girl named Addie. And Addie, let's talk about her because she is a little spiteful thing. And she has also got some things going on with her. I kind of felt sorry for her at the very beginning, but now that I'm getting to know her a little bit more, she is very manipulative. She's got some narcissistic tendencies about her. She's one of those really quiet girls who gets picked on. And there was also an incident the previous year where a teacher got fired because there's a rumor that she slept with that teacher and they had a relationship and it was inappropriate, obviously, and he got fired for that. And his whole entire life just like blew up. She says that they didn't. He says that they didn't have any kind of sexual relationship, nothing that crossed the line. But something happened and something got out to where he was fired. And now everyone thinks that she slept with that teacher. Addie is not as innocent as you would portray her to be, but she's also a victim as well. Because of the relationship that she's having with her teacher. She believes that he is enamored by her and that he loves her and that they're going to be together and that all this kind of stuff. But you obviously know that he is a predator and he's most likely done this before. I have a feeling that he has. I don't know that for sure. But I really do think that there's something nefarious going on with him, obviously, because he's a freaking creep. But like Addie is, and this is where that not a perfect victim comes in, because she's not a perfect victim whatsoever, but she's also just a kid, and this is happening to her. And it's interesting reading from her perspective about this, because she is a teenager and she believes that, like I said, that they are having this amazing relationship, and she doesn't see, she knows that it's wrong, but in her brain they have so much in common, and he is the sexiest person that she's ever met, and he's the most like smartest person that she's ever met, and he's telling her all of these things to get what he wants. And I don't believe him for a second that he is as enamored with her as he claims to be. I believe that he is a freaking pervert, and he's disgusting. He's gross. So yeah, he's a freaking creep. But Eve is Addie's math teacher. And Eve, we find something out about Eve as well, that she, like her and her husband do not have a good relationship. He doesn't show her any affection. And when he does show her affection, you finally figure out why he's showing her affection. But it's for just his own pleasure, really. And she has found her own pleasure in a different way. She's also really obsessed with shoes, and that's very weird that she's obsessed with shoes. Like she is, like, I love shoes, but I don't talk about them 24/7. Like, I have a life. I talk about books 24/7. Maybe that's my comparison to the shoe obsession in here. But anyways, off topic. But she is finding her pleasure somewhere else. She knows that it's wrong. She also has a weird feeling about this Addie chick. See, like, Eve is the teacher that she goes in, she teaches, she has high expectations for you, she doesn't really care if you like her, she's there to teach, right? And she has Addie in her class. The teacher that Addie got fired, Eve was really good friends with. It was her mentor that got fired. So she already has like a I don't like you attitude towards Addie in the first place. And she knows that Addie is in her husband's class as well. So it's just all kinds of drama in here. That is one thing that I can say about Frida McFadden's writing, is it's very easy to digest. You don't have to really think hard about it. And it's also, there's some twists and turns in here that you really don't see. Like, some of them I saw coming, obviously, because it's in the synopsis, but the way that it was handled is a little easier to digest than some other books. Not that you would ever want your daughter, your son, your child, your husband, your wife doing any of the things in this book that they're doing, but it's a little bit easier to digest. It still makes you feel disgusting, because it is disgusting, but I hope you get what I'm trying to say, right? I hope you get what I'm trying to say. But anyways, I'm enjoying this book a little bit more than I did Tampa, thank the Lord. But it's fast-paced, not as lyrical, more straightforward. I don't have to use my brain a lot. I just know that Mr. Bennett is a pervert and he's a predator, and I hope he gets what's coming to him. But according to the prologue that we got, yep, somebody got what they deserved. So we'll see who it is. We'll see. We'll see. Okay, longest winded update ever, but as you can see, I'm liking this book a little bit more. I'm also listening to it on audio, so I'm going through it pretty quick. But just wanted to tell you, I love you, girl. It's a pretty girl. It's so pretty. It's a pretty girl. She's my baby. She's my baby. So I just wanted to show you, well, first of all, Lila, but I also wanted to show you the books that I got yesterday at the bookstore. Sorry, my head's cut off, but I don't really feel like setting up my camera at the moment. But because of Tampa, because of this horrible book, went to Barnes & Noble because I needed some retail therapy, so I ended up getting this pretty edition. I've heard that this is really good. It's a romantasy. The book is just like, it's super pretty, so I wanted to pick that up. And then I also ended up getting The Ring. Like, you know, because of the movie. And the movie freaked me out when I was younger. So I wanted to get this and actually read it and see what it's all about, because I've heard that the book is more brutal than the actual movie, and if you've ever seen the movie, you know that it's freaking nuts. So wanted to pick that up. And then the last one, as you can tell, I'm in a romantic mood lately. I'm trying to find some really cute ones. I got How to Help a Hungry Werewolf. So that's really cute. Yep, it just sounds like this is going to be really, really cute. I don't typically like werewolf stories, or maybe it's just like wolf shifters. Maybe I like a werewolf story, because wolf shifters, you know that they have like fated mates and stuff, and they look at each other and they're automatically in love. I don't really like those kind of stories because I don't like insta love, but hopefully this will be really cute because she's helping him out. I don't know. I just saw this and I was like, okay. It says, years ago he betrayed her trust. Ooh, second chance. Now he's offering her supernatural wonders. What's a witch to do? So she's a witch and he's a werewolf. That's gonna be freaking adorable. And like I said, it's second chance romance, so you know I'm all about that. But yeah, that's my little book haul for this, because yep, I was very emotional and in a horrible mood yesterday, so I needed retail therapy. Did I really need it? No. But did I want to? Yes, obviously. That's why I came out with 3 books and some other books, but those are Christmas presents. Hello. So I ended up finishing The Teacher last night, and I'm gonna give it 4 stars. 1, because the twist at the end, I was not really expecting all that much. I knew that there was something going on with Eve, but I didn't catch on because I was listening to this as well. So I didn't really catch on to some of the little clues that were just like thrown in there about Jay at the end. But I was glad to see what happened to Nate because Nate's a horrible person, but then also Eve is extremely hypocritical as well and not a good human at all. And then my comments about Addie still stand, but then again, Addie is a child and she's a victim, and she's just going through the gigs as a teenager. We all remember teenage life. If you're in your teenage life right now, it gets better with age. Like, life gets better, but we all remember those teenage urges, the teenage issues that go on. Everything is like, oh my god, it's the end of the world. We all went through that. But I just feel really sorry for her, and I feel really sorry for most of the teenagers in this book, because the adults in this book are just freaking horrible. Like, they are awful humans, and it all surrounds like education and teaching, and that's just like disgusting. But if you think about it, it happens every day. So this is, even though it's very far-fetched at most points, it's a pretty good representation of how predators who go into the education field get away with it, especially when they prey on people who are super vulnerable and people who are not going to tell any, like, they know which people to go after, right? So it's just, oh, thank you, Lila, for that. Just looked over, my dog's pooping. But it was just one of those books, and the twists at the end and stuff like that, like I said, I was liking Eve. There was something weird with her, but when I found out what she was doing with Jay, I was just like, God, like, you're horrible too. Like, such a hypocrite, so hypocritical. And that just goes to show people are not who they think, or not who they claim to be on the outside. And while her husband's off doing what he's doing, she's doing what she's doing behind his back, and they are just like, good God. And then learning about their like past and stuff like that, I can see why Eve is the way that she is, because she's a victim too. So this cycle just continues with this book. But 4 stars. I was gonna give it 3.5, but then that last twist at the end happened, because it was getting kind of far-fetched. Like, I would say from about here on, that's when it started to pick up a little bit, and some of the twists and turns and far-fetchedness and stuff like that kind of mellowed out a little bit. But from about halfway to like this portion, about a third of it, it was a little over the top, and I was like, okay, get on with it. Like, come on, just get on with it. But yeah, it's not bad. It's not a bad book. I can see why this is high up on people's list for Frida McFadden. And I was very interested about The Inmate as well. There's a little excerpt in the very back, so I do think that I'll probably pick that up soon. Not right now, but on the scale of She Did What, I would say that this is, I don't know how I'm going to do the scales. It's not as bad as Tampa, but it's still pretty up there. Like, She Did What? Like, there's a lot of she's in here that did what. So I would give this maybe like a 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10 until you get to the end, and then Eve is a horrible human too. So 8.5 out of 10. 8.5 out of 10. We're doing it out of 10. I just figured that out right here in my brain. So Any Man, she gets a 10 out of 10. Tampa, she gets like a 1000 out of 10. And we'll say 8.5 out of 10. 8.5. Then I started reading Break Him, and I got halfway through it. I didn't realize how short this book was, but y'all, Bree is my kind of person. Bree's husband is a cheater. He is he sees money and that's all he cares about, and he just uses people, and once he's done with you, he throws you away. And that's basically what he has done to her. She has found out that he is trying to divorce her, and she has 15 days to break him. And she's doing a really good job. It's kind of like a slow, she's slowly doing it. She's doing it very sneakily, and she's doing it to the point where like he's going crazy. And I like that psychological aspect of it. This is a domestic thriller, but it does have a psychological twist to it too, where she knows how to play mind games, and there's something about Bree that he doesn't realize that she has in her, and I absolutely love that in my female characters. And he's a piece of absolute crap, like for real. He's no good, okay? But this is a pretty quick read, and it's pretty interesting, and something that happened in here with one of her friends that's trying to help her with the divorce and everything like that. Something happened with her, and I was like, dang, because Bree, she didn't hold back, and I like that. Do I condone violence? No. But is violence sometimes okay in certain situations? Possibly. Okay. Would I snatch somebody up in a heartbeat if they did what her friend did to her? Depending on my mood, it could happen. You never know, okay? But I thought that it was entertaining, and it was one of those things, right? It was just one of those scenes that I was like, yes, get her. I also forgot to tell you that I started listening to this, but I wanted to read this one first, because this one is the one that started this whole video idea of She Did What, because I was very excited about this. So I put a pause on listening to this one to start reading this one. But I am 17 pages into This Girl's a Killer, and Cordelia, she's gonna be, I don't know, she might be one of my favorite characters of the year so far. But we'll see. You just saw me outside, but I also forgot to mention this too, because I'm forgetting everything today apparently. I have to return this book today, and I also have some books that I'm going to be donating to my library, so I think I'm going to look for another She Did What book when I get to the library, and that's going to be the 5th book that I read in this video. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to throw a little twist in here, okay? I'm going to return this and then pick up another one and then read that one too. I think that's a good idea. But just letting you know, if you don't see this book anymore, that's why, because I have to return it to the library. It's already a little bit overdue. it already renewed once, and I don't need it to renew a third time, okay? Or second time, whatever. It's on its 2 out of 3. You don't care about that, but I just want to let you know. This is getting returned, and I'm going to pick up another I'm going to pick up another She Did What book. So I finished this. Ended up giving it 5 stars. Is it bad of me that I smiled through a lot of this book? Like when she was doing stuff, I was like, yes. Is that bad? Does that make me a bad person? Because I really enjoyed this book. And Bree is one of those people that seems like super nice on the outside, which she really is until you cross her. And then when you cross her, she's like taking everything from you and I'm going to destroy your life. That's just her personality, and that's really all I'm going to say about it. But I enjoyed this book. It's pretty short too. It's only 200 pages, so it's very straight to the point, but there's also some really good twists in here as well that I did not see coming, and I just really liked it. Like, I liked it a lot. So 5 stars. I immediately went and bought the other thriller that this author has written. She also has written like historical fiction, women's fiction, and romance. So if I like her other book, the other thriller book that I ordered, then I will continue on with this author because I really like her writing style. I really liked her humor thrown in here too, the sarcasm that was thrown in here. I'm a dark humor kind of person, like a lot, and I really liked just like a lot of that in here. So highly suggest this book if you're looking for something, and I think this would be a pretty good starter book for domestic thrillers. But yeah, I enjoyed it. So we went to the library and I returned The Teacher, and I ended up picking up Home Is Where the Bodies Are. I've been looking at this book for a while. I've already read one of Geneva Rose's books. Can't remember which one it was. I read it previously this year, but I can't remember what it was. Anyways, I've been seeing this book. It's a shorter one too. It's around it's like 250 pages. And I'm pretty sure I can get the audiobook for it too, so I can zoom through this. But I mean, the other Geneva Rose one, was it You Shouldn't Have Come Here? That's what I read. The other one that I liked it. Like, I enjoyed that book. A lot of other people don't like that book, but I actually enjoyed it, and I liked the twist at the end. And I hear that this one has a really good twist at the end too. So I should pick this one up at the library because I want to see if the mom of these 3 kids is really as bad as the synopsis claims. So yeah. Oh, I didn't even do my She Did What, like my counter thing. I don't know. I don't really know what it is. I'll figure it out. But out of 10, I would say that Bree is about 7.5. She could have done a lot worse than she did to her husband. I'd say it's 7.5. 7.5. Rather low considering some of the other books, but she's up there as one of the as a character that I was just rooting for the entire time. So good morning. It's Thanksgiving. I started my period, so yay to me. But I also wanted to let you know that I got halfway through this. This is a more emotional book than I thought that it was going to be, even though it's about like their mom's death. But this is a very, very complex family, like most families, you know. And we have Beth, Michael, and Nicole. In the synopsis, it talks about like their lives as of right now. Beth has always lived in their small town, and she's been taking care of their mom since their mom's been sick. So that's been taking a toll on her. Her daughter is in the Navy, and she doesn't get to see her daughter very much. So that makes her really sad. She also got a divorce, so that makes her really sad. It makes her kind of feel like a failure a little bit. And then we have Nicole, who is an addict and has just been going through a lot of things dealing with that. and she's kind of the black sheep of the family. And then we have Michael, who is the youngest sibling, and he left after their dad left 7 years ago, and they haven't heard from him, but their mom just died. And they have to get back together. They have to go through all of the personal things in the house, and they find this tape where they see their mom and their dad talking about disposing of a body. And they're trying to figure out what happened and why their dad disappeared 7 years ago, why their mom kept it a secret, because they always thought their mom was like a saint. And the little girl that was in the tape that was shown dead was somebody who's been missing for a long time. So they're trying to figure all that out, and they're realizing that their parents weren't the perfect people that they thought that they were, so they're having to deal with that, plus their mom's death, plus trying to get along in all of this. So it's been interesting so far. It's a little bit more emotional, like I said, but we're getting alternating chapters. We're getting also flashbacks with Laura, that's their mom, talking about the family and talking about her, all of her things going on. But yeah, it's okay so far. It's very slow roll, but I enjoy domestic thrillers just because of the dynamics that are usually in there, and I am nosy and I want to know about other people's families. So there's that. But yeah, halfway through, plan on finishing this today and just kind of laying around the house because I don't feel good. I'm in the line at Starbucks, so I figured I would just fill you in on this book. I ended up giving this 4 stars. I thought this was a really good deep dive into sibling relationships, especially after a parent has died, and just the overall commentary about you don't know who your actual parents are, nor do you know who your actual siblings are, because in here Nicole, Beth, and Michael all have their own little secrets. They have their own thoughts about each other. They don't like each other. Beth, I'm sorry, we're moving. I'm gonna drive with you. Beth doesn't like Nicole because Nicole is an addict, and well, not because Nicole's an addict, but because Nicole is an addict, and Beth has had to be around Nicole and see the issues that Nicole has had while she's on drugs and while she's under the influence. And Nicole lived it with Beth at one point, but Nicole wasn't clean like she said that she was, and Beth got to see the horrible sides of what addiction can do to a person that you love. So that's why Beth and Nicole don't really get along. Nicole is trying to get clean, and she's been clean for 29 days before her mother passes away. Michael hasn't been around for like 7 years, and he comes back and he's trying to tell them both what to do, and they're like, you haven't been here for like 7 years, you need to shut your mouth. So there's just a lot of animosity between the siblings, and Michael has his own secrets of why he left. They don't understand, like, he's never told them why he left the way he did. But as the book goes on, I was like, Michael, you are a piece of work. And then by the end of it, I was like, okay, that's who Michael is. Figured it out finally. But there were 2 people in here that I was suspicious of for a while, and the one that I was the most suspicious of came to light in the very last chapter. But yeah, it was just a pretty thorough deep dive of, you know, what people go through and all that kind of stuff. And there's a woman staring at me right now, so I don't know what to do. I'm kind of embarrassed now. Not really embarrassed, but she looked away. I guess she felt like she knew I was talking about her. Anyways, I just wanted to fill you in and let you know, 4 stars. This isn't a horrible book. It kind of got slow, but the ending picked up, and I don't know. I just thought that it was a really good deep dive into sibling relationships and what people have to go through and all the secrets that you find out about your parents once they pass away. One thing I can say is I don't agree with the way that her or their parents dealt with what happened in this story. I understand it from a standpoint, but I don't think that they handled it very well. I'll say that. And then I am halfway through this. Cordelia Black is a person that you do not want to mess with, but you want to be your friend in your life. She murders men who are horrible people and who have done horrible things, and I can't fault her for that, but she is extremely close with her best friend and her best friend's sister. They've been, or not her best friend's sister, her best friend's daughter. They've been together, well, not together, but they've all three been there for each other for a long time, and Cordelia is very, very, very protective of both of them. And she starts dating this guy named Mason, and Mason, there's something wrong with him. Cordelia can't figure out what it is, and did I say Mason? His name is Simon. His name is Simon, sorry. But Simon, there's something wrong with him. Cordelia can't figure it out. And then Cordelia starts dating a cop, which is very interesting in its own little way. But I've really liked to see how Cordelia is taking on the whole aspect of ridding the world of horrible men. I like that kind of psychological thrillery aspect of it, but she is slowly starting to break because something at her work has happened and it's thrown her off, and then she does something that she normally does not do, because she usually is very like planning out and doesn't sway away from her rules that she has about murdering people. But yep, so it's been a very interesting dynamic so far. The audiobook's really good too, but I'm about to order, so hold please. Okay, sorry, that was my friend calling me. But yes, Cordelia, she is one of those friends that you want in your life, but you don't want to be the enemy of, and I'm really enjoying her. Simon, there's something wrong with him. She can't figure it out, but I mean, when she finally does, it's pretty brutal what she does. It's gotten more unhinged as it's gone on, but I am enjoying it a lot. I really like Cordelia, and I like her friend Bree, and I like Sugar, who is Bree's daughter. I really like all of them and their dynamic. They're really cute, but Cordelia is just very protective of who she loves, and I appreciate that because I'm the same way. I'm not gonna go as far as her. Anyway, we'll not get in that discussion, but I just want to let you know that I'm halfway through this because I really want to finish reading it, and I'm on my way to my friend's house. Oh, there's cute dogs. There's cute little doggies over there. I'm on my way to my friend's house right now because it is our annual get together for like once a month thing that we normally do, and we're gonna be decorating for Christmas. And she has a Roddy named Bear, and then she's also got some dogs that she's dog sitting. But I forgot to tell you about she did what ranking that I'm doing for this video. I'm gonna give this one for Laura, who is their mother. I'm gonna give her about a 6 because she didn't actually do what happened in here. She just kind of helped hide it. Not kind of, she did. She helped hide it. So I'm gonna give her about a 6 out of 10 because I understood where she was coming from, being a mama, but the way that she did it was just kind of weird. Not weird. The way that she did it was, let's say, unethical. We'll say that. I hope you really can't hear my air conditioning because it's on, and no, I'm wearing a sweater. It's 40 degrees outside finally, but I'm wearing a sweater. And did I put deodorant on? These are the thoughts that run through my brain. But let you know, I finished this book a while ago and I just forgot to end this video, but I wanted to tell you that I gave this 4 stars. I think Cordelia is one of those people that you want in your corner, 100%. You don't want to be her enemy. You don't want to do things and her find out that you have done things and then she comes after you. You don't want that in your life, okay? Cordelia is just one of those girls through and through. She loves you. She's going to do what she can for you, and she does in this book. The reason why I did not give it 5 stars is because it got a little slow, it got a little repetitive, especially after Cordelia did what she did and you went through the days of like what she's trying to cover up and everything. But I enjoyed the execution of this book, and I would like to be Cordelia's friend, not her enemy. But Cordelia only goes after people who deserve it, and I can sympathize with her as to why she's doing what she's doing, especially when you find out her past. And I think some of it is justified. She's a very gray character. She has very good intentions, very bad intentions, and she knows the kind of person that she is. So I appreciated that about her. But yeah, I liked this book. It was good. It was a good one. Except like about this much of the book, like I said, it kind of got a little slow and very repetitive. Didn't have to be there. This is, I believe, yeah, it's over 400 pages. And I think if like 50 pages got cut out, that would have been a 5 star for me. But the slowness of it at almost the end, or like mid-end, whatever, you know what I mean. The slowness of it kind of drew the story back a little bit for me, and yeah. But 4 stars. I believe if you were interested in this book, pick it up, because it's a good time. And if you like morally gray characters, Cordelia's your girl. Okay, but that is the end of this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. I really enjoyed reading all of these books. I have another video coming up like this very soon, and I'm very excited about it. So if you stick around, please make sure you hit that subscribe button before you leave, and leave the comments down below. If you've read any of these books, if you want to read these books, let me know in the comments, and I will talk to you very soon. Okay, bye. I don't know why I did that. Peace. Goodbye.